What would happen if a powerful CEO refused to pay a hardworking, single father for repairing her private jet? She believed she could ignore his invoice and walk away without consequences. But what happened next shocked everyone. When pilot after pilot refused to take off, turning a simple payment dispute into a costly business nightmare. This is the inspiring story of Jake Carter, a skilled aircraft mechanic whose honesty, reputation, and determination proved more valuable than money. Stay with us to discover how one single dad taught a billionaire CEO a lesson she would never forget. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories like this. Now let's get started. Jake Carter stood beneath the massive private jet inside a busy Dallas hangar, wiping grease from his hands as he studied the damaged engine. At 38, he was a skilled aircraft mechanic and a devoted single father, raising his 8-year-old daughter, Emma. Life had never been easy since his wife passed away years earlier, but Jake had built a reputation for doing honest work and never cutting corners. When the luxury jet belonging to billionaire CEO Victoria Hayes arrived with a severe engine failure, several technicians had already examined it and declared the repair too complicated. The aircraft had suffered internal damage that could have grounded it for months. Victoria's staff needed the jet operational immediately because important business meetings were scheduled across the country. Jake carefully inspected every component, taking detailed notes and creating a repair plan. He knew the work would require long hours, specialized parts, and exceptional attention to detail. For the next 2 weeks, he spent nearly every day and night inside the hangar. While other workers went home, Jake remained focused on rebuilding the damaged system. Between shifts, he checked on Emma, helped her with homework, and made sure she never felt neglected. Despite his demanding schedule, exhausted but determined, he refused to rush the job because he understood that lives would depend on the aircraft's safety. Finally, after countless inspections and tests, the jet was ready. Jake supervised multiple safety checks, ensuring every component performed perfectly. The aircraft passed all required certifications and operated flawlessly during trial runs. Confident in his work, Jake prepared the final invoice, reflecting the labor, expertise, and expensive replacement parts required for the repair. When Victoria Hayes arrived at the hangar, surrounded by assistants and advisors, Jake handed her the documents. She reviewed the invoice for only a few seconds before her expression changed. A faint smile appeared on her face, but it wasn't a friendly one. Jake immediately sensed that the conversation ahead would be far more difficult than repairing the jet itself. Victoria Hayes lowered the invoice and looked directly at Jake with a dismissive expression. Around her stood several executives and assistants, all waiting for her response. Instead of acknowledging the weeks of work that had gone into restoring the aircraft, she shook her head. "This is far too much," she said coldly. Jake calmly explained the cost of the replacement parts, the specialized labor, and the extensive safety testing required to return the jet to flight-ready condition. He even showed detailed records documenting every repair. But Victoria barely glanced at them. Convinced that a local mechanic could be pressured into accepting less, she refused to authorize payment. Jake remained professional despite his disappointment. He knew the quality of his work and understood that arguing would accomplish nothing. Gathering his paperwork, he simply stated that all repairs had been completed, according to industry standards, and that the records would remain on file. Then he walked away. Victoria assumed the matter was finished and instructed her team to prepare the jet for an important flight to New York. The following morning, the next day, however, unexpected problems began to emerge. The first pilot assigned to the flight reviewed the maintenance history and learned that Jake Carter had performed the repair. Knowing Jake's reputation for honesty and precision, the pilot became concerned. After hearing rumors that the mechanic had not been paid, he declined to fly the aircraft until the dispute was resolved. A second pilot reviewed the same information and reached the same conclusion. Soon every available pilot refused the assignment. As cancellations mounted, Victoria's schedule collapsed. Critical meetings were missed, contracts were delayed, and financial losses grew by the hour. For the first time, she realized that Jake's reputation carried enormous weight throughout the aviation industry. The mechanic she had underestimated was trusted by professionals whose decisions affected millions of dollars. Faced with a growing crisis, Victoria knew she had no choice but to meet Jake personally and make things right.